Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend Matt.
Without mentioning anything else of the weekend, I need to describe the chaos that is minor league hockey.
Okay, go ahead.
So, like most minor league sporting games, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that happens, like in between periods and stuff, to keep the kids' attention and whatever. One of the trivia questions was asking someone in her 20s or 30s, the new movie Paw Patrol subtitle is coming out this weekend, and it's based off of what TV show?
Yes.
Yeah.
You had told me about this off
Yep.
call, but yeah.
The other fun thing was they had a blimp drone. Like it was a blimp, but it was like controlled by drone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen those, I think.
Yeah. And it flew around the arena. It flew around the arena, and it like occasionally dropped fun stuff, like cozies or whatever, into the audience. But the best part is that at one point, a guy came out and he was wearing a hockey sweater that said "Goal Monkey," and he's the one who like adjusts the goals and stuff. And the drone hit him.
Huh.
Like on purpose.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's a way to keep people entertained, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's some people who have stake in the games themselves, but you're probably just there to have a good time. And so that's a way to do it, to keep people entertained while the hockey game is also a thing that happens. It's just it could just be a secondary thing. It's kind of like that's how I somewhat feel about baseball. A lot of baseball at this point, where I'm just like, when I go to a baseball game, like, it's like the game is there, but there's just so many other things that I go to a baseball game for to enjoy the experience. Mainly the food, but there's some other entertaining things. I'm a little jealous of the only time I'm jealous of the Washington Nationals at all is their presidential races that they have. I think that is the stupidest and silliest idea.
Wait till you see a Milwaukee Brewers game where it's people dressed up as German sausages.
That's also
Polish
very
sausages.
good. That is very good. That's a very good thing. I just love anything where you, first of all, just have a mascot of some kind.
Yeah.
But when those are then utilized in ridiculous ways, I appreciate it. Mr. Met is another very unique character.
Mr. Met is like always feels like he's on the verge of homicide.
1000%. I mean, that's why he's so lovable. is his like, just vacant, like ready to kind of like wreak havoc a little bit.
Even compared to Gritty never feels like he would murder. Mr. Med feels like he would murder.
I feel like Mr. Met is pre-murder and Gritty is post-murder.
See, I don't even think that. I don't think Gritty is a murderous being.
What about the Philly Fanatic?
The Philly Fanatic has a body count, both the murder and the sexual.
Oh. I mean, I don't disagree. But I just was not expecting that to go in that direction. But I'm glad that we established that Philly Fanatic has a sexual body count.
That is maybe top 10 things I've ever said on recording.
It's up there. It's definitely up there. Sometimes you just need you need a level of unhinged to get you there, and we finally I was hoping we'd get to that point.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we worked that to get there.
I'm putting that in Chris's fun corner. I don't care that I said it.
That's okay. That's fine. Own it. Own your silly sayings. Anyways, welcome everyone. So we are in Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We are going to continue this week with our creation of the VBBFL Season 4, or at the very least the teams. We did make a team last week, but we'll have an update about that because we walked away from that one not super happy with our work, and we'll get into that. We'll and then of course we'll create a new team on top of that.
Yep.
We will also, of course, I love that Remy's back. Remy has returned for this week's edition of the podcast.
He wants me to throw his coffee cup, but then it's a no take only throw situation.
Right. But we have more picks to give for this week. Everyone's playing. The first week since we've had every single team playing since end or middle of October, I want to say. We will end up having a couple more weeks of buys after this week, so this is a very special week because we have all 16 teams ready to go and play some football. And of course, we're gonna talk about the games and things that happened this week. A lot happened. It's hard to keep track of everything, including some major injuries and benchings and things like that to discuss. But let's just start out with the game of the week. And I kind of figured to put this game here, but I don't know if it was this amazing affair as we wanted it to be, but it's fine. It was still a comeback, and it was still ultimately a fascinating game when you look at the NFL coming to a head down the stretch here. Eagles-Chiefs.
Yeah.
As it started out with... the whole game was a little bit of a slog. A lot of defensive play that was fantastic for both teams. And the Chiefs felt like at one point they were starting to get dominant in the game. They were up by 10 at one point, 17-7. The defensive line of the Chiefs, or just the defense in general, had like 5 sacks on Jalen Hurts very quickly. They were getting to him big time, and then all of a sudden, the Chiefs' offense just kind of started not catching Mahomes' throws, and and Travis Kelce also had a rough night, including a fumble that led to the Eagles getting back in this, and the Eagles kind of quickly took care of business. There was even one major decision where the Chiefs 17-14. They failed on third down, and they were kind of they're sort of in the Eagles territory, and Andy Reid decided to punt. And after that, in 2 plays, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense got back to that point where the Chiefs punted, and then a couple more plays after that, they scored a touchdown to take the lead. And so it was just one of those decisions that you walk away from and you're like, oh, God, why do we have to be so conservative? But I get it. Also, this offense wasn't really doing that much, including in the final drive where MVS dropped a massive play.
Yep.
And there was even a worse drop, that play after that by I forget his name. Justin
Watson.
Yeah, Justin Watson.
And it
was bad. It was bad showing by the Chiefs wide receivers.
Chris, I need to tell you that the Chiefs have gone 4 weeks without scoring in the second half.
That's insane.
It is, yeah.
That's insane. And it's wild because this would be easily run away the best team in football if the offense was at all at the levels that it were a couple years ago, matched with the way that this defense has been playing, which overall has been very good. Obviously could not hold on strong enough to keep the Eagles from getting hot down the stretch, but they did have such an amazing game overall. But man, what a tough blow for the Chiefs, who are I ultimately, well, I will say this: the Chiefs don't really have that hard of a schedule down the stretch. The Eagles do.
Yes.
The Eagles have kind of a run on teams. I think they still have to play the Niners. They have to play the Bills. They have to play a couple of massive teams in the they're gonna probably have they will definitely have to play the Cowboys again. They have plenty of room to lose games here, so they kind of needed to win this one. And in doing so, it puts them in a situation where they could take an L at some point and still probably firmly be in the conversation for the number one overall seeds, but you still have like the Lions that like nipping at your heels, and you still have the 49ers that are getting back into this and starting to go on a run a little bit. So the Chiefs though is just it's just one of those things where optically it's not looking great for them on an overall. Why are none of all these players that you brought in and no one is doing anything? And Travis Kelce is now reaching a point where he's even openly has talked about retiring, and like he's talking about not like being at his healthiest or just not really being at the peak of what he was. Last year was his best season, and now he's just kind of already kind of gone backwards a bit, and it's starting to show, I guess, his age. But I don't know. That's a brutal stuff for the Chiefs, but ultimately, it keeps the AFC interesting, as we would have wanted. The blowout of the week was the Jets at the Bills, a game that honestly Robert Saleh has dominated this like rivalry-ish in terms of having his defense always showed up for these games, but that did not happen this time around. It was a Bills comeback game after things have been looking very bleak for the Bills overall, and the Jets made a decision after the game. During the game, they benched Zach Wilson, and now moving forward, they're rolling with Tim Boyle.
Let Russ cook?
Quarterback.
Nah, let Tim Boyle.
God damn it.
Yeah, I think this has been coming for a long time.
Yeah.
It should have happened sooner. The Jets could have been competitive, but they insisted on staying with Zach Wilson, and that's going to ruin their season. They could have stayed competitive, even for like the not going to happen chance of Aaron Rodgers coming back, but they just don't have it anymore. The Bills managed to keep themselves alive, and I think can still turn themselves around, but this is a good step out of that slump for them.
I hear you, and I guess I'm just like, Tim Boyle.
I'm not saying it's like Tim Boyle's gonna light the world on fire.
No. I know that's not what you're saying. I know that's not what you're saying. My thing is just like, they really did not have a ton of security blankets that they've laid out with this quarterback situation. Like they were supposed to treat this year like they were going to the Super Bowl. They were supposed to treat this year like they needed to have all the measures in place because they have such a talented team. And like I don't understand why you have Tim Boyle as the guy that you ended up replacing Zach Wilson with. And why you even had Zach Wilson in the first place was because you had too much pride in the fact that you selected him number 2 overall and felt like he still could do something, even though we clearly saw that he has last year that he couldn't do anything. And Tim Boyle, like, he has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns in every season of football he's played, including college. He's not a good quarterback.
No.
Like, why is he even on the pro level? And then you find out he's Aaron Rodgers' friend. It makes sense. It makes sense why he's the quarterback. But it's just insane. Like, you have completely sold your soul to Aaron Rodgers to have him play a quarterback for your team. And yes, obviously you could not have expected him to go down on like the first or second play of the game. Yeah, whatever it was, the very early parts,
the first drive,
of your season, but you had to have a backup plan for your 40-year-old quarterback, and we have seen over and over again that Zach Wilson was a terrible choice to keep as a backup. I don't understand why they did not try to pursue a Josh Dobbs, why they could not have pursued another backup quarterback. Joe Flacco, who granted has not been that great either, but he was at least a backup quarterback for the Jets last year and has been in that facility before.
Or
you could have brought him back.
You could even re-sign Mike White.
Right.
And listen, yeah. I'm one of the guys who is both an unironic and an ironic enjoyer of Mike White as a player.
Sure.
But he is it's funny. It's funny. It's bad football management. This is why bad teams stay bad.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to give Robert Saleh a chance. I wanted him to be able to coach a playoff football team because I think that he is a decent coach, especially he's gotten a good, but I don't think he survives this year at this point.
I don't think he will either, and it's just totally the way that he refused to make a change.
Yeah,
when he really needed to.
And I wonder how much it was his decision too.
That's true.
Wonder if it was the general manager. It absolutely could have been him. And I think the way that he has talked about it in the media has been weird because at one point after the Chargers game he was just like, "Oh, he's not the problem. He's not the problem. He's actually been playing pretty well."
Yeah.
Things like that. And then today, when he announced that he's gonna replace him as he's not even gonna be the backup anymore. Zach Wilson's the number 3 quarterback.
The emergency third QB.
Right, he's inactive at this point, or he might be the third QB. But today he was just like, I've had words with I've talked with Joe Douglas about this, and I'm not going to repeat that publicly right now. And it's just of course that's paraphrasing, but at the same time it's like what the fuck was all of this? What the fuck was this season? What are we doing here? It's just what, and who is really to blame for Zach Wilson still haven't been used this whole time? It's bizarre. Kudos to the Bills, they got a victory. Let's see you do that against a better team soon. Chaos. This was a hard week to pick a chaos because I didn't really feel like anything was major. I ended up just going down the route of the Seahawks at Rams again because they're just considering record-wise. The Seahawks have been in the playoff running. Rams were deep out of it. But then Matthew Stafford came back, and all of a sudden, things look prosperous for the Rams.
Yeah.
Because they have his... He just plays very well for them, and once again, they sweep the Seahawks, and the Seahawks have a really difficult schedule coming down the stretch here, and it's starting to feel like maybe the Seahawks might not be able to get back in this, because they have the 49ers a couple of times. They have the 49ers this Thursday. They have the Eagles coming up. They have a difficult schedule, and I just wonder if maybe the Rams might be the ones to sneak in and replace the Seahawks in the playoff running. It's gonna be
maybe. I mean, they're only a couple games. There's a ton of NFC teams that are 4-6.
Right. Yeah.
Rams, Packers. They could make a run for the Seahawks lunch money. So Seahawks have to do their best to hold on.
Yeah, 100%. One other thing I want to throw in there, because it was a major news story, and an unfortunate news story at that. Joe Burrow is out for the year.
Yep. Thanks. So is Mark Andrews from the Ravens. That was just not a fun game.
Yeah.
And
also,
it's a shame for. Oh, go ahead.
No. Finish your thought, because
okay.
I had another one to bring up, but that's
okay.
fine.
It's a shame for the game for both of them. But I read a couple things that I thought was pretty interesting. They were just really fast tweets, so it's not like a big revelation or anything, but someone pointed out how the big narrative around Lamar is like, oh, he's a mobile quarterback, he'll get hurt so much. Well, Lamar and Burrow have missed just about the same amount of time,
right,
due to injury. Maybe that's just because football is a punishing game.
Right. Yeah, and it's brutal, and obviously it takes the fun out of the sport when you lose a quarterback that is so much fun to watch on a frequent basis. And we'll see how Jake Browning does in his spot. But I find and I don't know if there's been any further development on it, but I know that there was like signs of him already having the injury before the game. Like,
that was weird. That was a weird thing.
Him having like the wrap on when he was getting off the plane or as he was entering the stadium or things like that.
Yep.
Which is brutal and honestly frustrating, because I don't know. I know we talked about this so much when he was dealing with the injury earlier the year, but like I just find the way that the Bengals have handled Joe Burrow from an injury point of view, I feel like they have not handled it well. I just feel like if this was an injury that he has actually been dealing with, why put him at risk and have him go out there? Because he could have maybe healed that at least a little bit before. Like, it's a big game. It was a big game between the Bengals and Ravens. I get it. I get that you wanted to have the best chance to win that game. But I also think that it would have been better off to keep Burrow on the bench for now while he deals with a wrist injury, and then have him back a couple of weeks later so that at the very least you can go for a wild card spot in the AFC. Like, with Burrow on the team, like, they would have easily gotten in that conversation. With him not on this team, I don't think the Bengals sniffed the playoffs.
No.
So
I don't think so either. And this was one of those years where you're like, oh, maybe the AFC North could do it. I don't think it's going to happen with Burrow out.
Yeah, well, maybe the Ravens. I think the Ravens, they played relatively well. And I know Mark Andrews going out is going to be a...
Yeah, well, I mean, the Ravens will make kind of talk about all 4 teams making the playoffs.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think that's going to happen now.
No.
But yeah,
I think the Bills could sneak back in.
Right. Well, no, that's the thing. You have a few openings here. Maybe the Broncos too. That's it.
Oh no.
We're in an interesting spot now with the Broncos.
Kevin James is
Kevin James
is the future.
Yeah. The future is now. Oh, this is Death Blart week too. So that he's.
Oh, it is.
So Kevin James' energy is just radiating right now. But anyways, if you don't know what we're talking about, don't worry about it. Just look up Till Death Do Us Blart. It's very good. It's a very good podcast. But anyways, so this obviously that's like the really shitty quarterback news. Then there was Deshaun Watson going down with an injury, and he's out for the year. That news, I think, came out after we filmed the podcast, that he was going to be out for the year. We did not know that when we initially filmed last week's podcast. So that's news to a certain extent. And then DTR came out, and the Browns ended up winning. And I gotta tell you, Matt, I kind of want to root for the Browns. I kind of now, there's a part of me that is like, I want the Browns to do really, really well with DTR and force a conversation to be had.
Please.
You know? That's kind of where I'm at. It's now I'm back on like the Browns train, at least for now. Still fuck the owners, but like, I'm just, this is, my vendetta is really with the one man. Now that he's out of the picture for the time being, I'm okay with the idea of the Browns succeeding, because I think it will make him look bad. So that's all.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh no! Actually, one more thing about the Watson thing is that he wanted to go back in, but doctors told him that if he got one more hit, that it would I forget what the exact quote was, but essentially shatter his shoulder.
Yes,
make it fall apart. So I think you should go back in one more time.
That's true. I really think
I
he should.
I think you should play one more game. Get one more out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, let's go ahead and let's go back to the VBBFL. We got two teams to talk about. One that we already made, one that's new.
Yeah.
So last week we made the Holland Tulips. Nice name. Interesting name for a football team. That said, Matt and I discussed, and I think we both feel a little regret about it. Not that it's a bad name, but considering the heights that we reached last year, we were like, maybe we could do something a little bit better.
Yeah.
And so we returned to our initial idea, or at least the one that I threw out there of the food category. We still want to bring in tulips, because obviously that is a major aspect of Holland, Michigan, is this tulip festival that they have. But on top of that, we did want to incorporate some kind of Dutch food within the tulips. So what's the name that we have now come up with, Matt, for Holland?
Yeah, so in general, we decided that, last year was our animal season for me. This is going to be the food season for Chris.
Yes.
If we can get it out. So we are now, instead of the Holland tulips, we're going to be the Holland strulips. Stroopwafel.
Strulips. I like it.
And I think that I think it's a little more clever. I feel better about it as a theme. So
yeah, I like it too. It's stupid, it's silly, but I think it's for those reasons that I love it.
Yep.
So Holland Strulips goes on the docket as our first team of season 4. But now let's make a second team. Matt, we're gonna go west. We're going west. I feel like it's sometimes hard for us to get Western teams. But this is a pretty solid West state here.
Yeah.
We're going to New Mexico.
All right.
And we're going to Roswell.
Oh my God.
Now I will say I don't know much about Roswell. Clearly you do.
Chris, how do you not know anything about Roswell, New Mexico? It's like the most famous city in New Mexico.
I thought Albuquerque maybe, but alright, that's fine.
Roswell's where the fucking UFO sighting happened.
Okay, I was about to say that was the first thing I was going to bring up, because the Roswell has a seal and it's very alien-esque. So they fucking embrace this shit.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and it might sidetrack us a bit when it comes to
like. I don't know. I am shocked that
we landed on
this. That we landed on this, but also that you.
I will say, I did not. I would not have realized it at all.
John Denver is from Roswell.
Huh. Okay. I will say I use a random town generator, and it doesn't, when the town names come up, it doesn't actually say the state, it just says the town name. We could have gone Roswell, Georgia. I just decided to do New Mexico because I just feel like New Mexico doesn't really have a major sports franchise in it, and I'm like, let's just have some fun with focusing on New Mexico, because Georgia is otherwise much more famous and prominent in the sports, especially football world. So I don't know, because I'm thinking about this like from I don't. Do you think that there would be a way to blend the alien stuff with the food stuff.
Well, we gotta find out the food stuff first, but aliens is like obviously it's aliens.
It's definitely alien adjacent.
Yeah,
in some capacity that we have to go down that route. I'll look up if there's a significant. I mean, in New Mexico, they really is the basic of fast food places here. It's not really. It doesn't seem like there's anything major.
Right. We could incorporate other like New Mexico based foods, you know, southwestern kind of Mexican ingredients are all like common, I imagine.
Sure. Yeah. I have to see I do want to look at a map, or I do want to look at Roswell. Roswell does have sports, it looks like. The Roswell Invaders plays in the Pecos League.
Good name.
Yes. They do wear lime green uniforms to represent the city's extraterrestrial connections. I respect that. Previously, Roswell was home to the Roswell Giants, Sunshiners, Rockets, Pirates, who played in the Panhandle Pecos Valley League and a couple of other leagues. So mainly it's baseball,
right?
And they have Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt. Roswell is home to Leprino Foods, one of the world's largest mozzarella factories.
Oh my god.
Come on. All right.
Mozzarellians.
I mean, it's not a good name, but I'm into it. I'm really into it, is the thing. I fucking adore it.
It's a pretty good name.
Actually, yeah, the more I sit with it,
Mozzarellian?
Mozzarellians. Alright, fuck it. We're doing it. It's the Roswell Mozzarellians. God damn it. Things are going too well. Shit. Alright. Matt, what the... Do we do, like, a vibrant lime green and white or something? Like, I don't even know what we do with this. Or a cream? We haven't done cream color or anything.
No, we have not. I'm spelling this Mozzer aliens.
Or
is it Mozzar?
Well, so Mozzarellians is Mozzellaliens is how I'm spelling it. Unless I'm not spelling mozzarella right.
Mozzarella has an A after the Z's.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm spelling
it
like...
my favorite food, and I don't know how to spell it. I see. Yeah. Okay. No, that's exactly how I have it.
Okay. Cool. I do really like the cream idea. You're right. We don't exactly have a cream color. Would cream look good with a really bright green though? Now, let me get paint up real quick. I can kind of show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I like it would remind me of like. I don't know. Maybe it would not be an amazing color combination.
Yeah, because this is like,
it's like two bright colors, maybe
right.
clashing with each other a bit.
Two bright colors is what I'm worried about a little bit.
Have we done a green and black before?
I don't think so. We've done green and gray.
Because what we could do is a light green, a very vibrant light green with a black.
Yeah, that's always going to be a good color combination.
Yeah. I guess I wanted to incorporate the mozzarella aspect of it, but right. I guess the absence of color with mozzarella just makes it that hard.
Right.
So.
Unless we wanted to do a darker green, then we get a little foresty that way, I think. But
up to you. the colors are not. It's not something I really play with until we're very late in
right
creation, and it's after you guys make the uniforms and logos. So,
yeah.
It's up to you what you want to like. If since you're deciding the uniform, I whatever you think would look best, I want you to decide it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at here's what not the best image, but here's what like a creamy light green would look like, and this might be not quite the right cream. Let me get a mozzarella cheese wheel or something to.
We're getting detailed with it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do this right. I mean, mozzarella is definitely a lot whiter.
It's right. Yeah, it is
a very white cheese.
Like, fresh mozzarella is like vibrant white.
Yes,
like mozzarella when you buy it in the store, that's a little bit more creamy looking.
Right. I mean, so we've done for our. I mean, if we do like, I like doing a white primary color every season. We can make this one like a little bit creamier.
Yeah.
Where I think that this would be the team to do it. We haven't done white and green yet.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to go.
Yeah.
And if we want to do a darker green, so that way it's not hard on the eyes. I'm cool with that. But I was just thinking nuclear.
Oh, I understand.
Level alien
yeah.
type thing. But I would again, whatever you guys end up going in that direction, I'm cool with like just settling on that will be what it is, and then maybe you guys could choose the shades later.
Yeah, just decide. Okay, we're gonna do green.
What shade of green or what shade of white you want to go down. So, yeah.
Let me just throw like a couple things on here real fast, just so you can kind of see what I'm thinking.
Yeah, the Roswell Mozzarellians. That's the more
it sounds it's got good mouthfeel.
It does actually have really good mouthfeel. the Strulips took a little bit. But the Mozzarellians kind of almost worked immediately, even though at first I was like, this is so stupid, but like but then I'm like, you know what, actually this is on brand and very good.
So I think that middle one looks best.
I do too.
Yeah.
So for our audio listeners, it's the darker of the group, but it kind of reminds me of kind of a little bit like the Philadelphia throwback uniform green matched with the cream.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like that
Kelly green.
The Kelly green. That's it.
Yeah.
That kind of.
I'll write down cream and green.
Yeah, cream and green is I think a good matchup there. All right.
I'm so glad you found the fucking mozzarella plants. Jesus Christ.
That was amazing. I was just like, because sometimes when you look at the Wikipedia page, it's like the same old bullshit, and you're like, all right, well, now we gotta go search other places. But just all of a sudden, it just says local industry, and it's the only thing listed under local industry is that they have the world's largest mozzarella factories, which immediately, by the way, puts Roswell in the highest of graces for me. I don't know if there's anything wrong politically there. I could not care
Mexico,
less.
So they're surprisingly liberal for.
Right. I could care less at this point. I am just here. I just love the fact that you have the world's largest mozzarella factory. You have officially won my heart there. All right.
It's so funny.
It's so good though.
I wonder I wonder what our coaches are going to think about these names.
Yes, it's going to be wild. All right. Let us go ahead and jump to our pick segment. We had 5 disagreements last week. Matt, you took it home at the very end. Ravens and Cowboys.
The first Red Power Ranger was in Roswell.
Wow.
Sorry, I had to include that.
I don't know if I've ever saw a single episode of
Neither have I.
Rangers. Okay. The Ravens and Cowboys, they won initially, and that was it was looking bleak for me right then and there. I was down 2-0, but then the Bills won and the Rams won, so that ended up at least tying it up. But then the Eagles took it home, and now I'm in not as big of a hole not like a massive hole, but just it's still double digits, and I did not do much of digging myself out here. But nonetheless, Matt, you went 9-5, did not get your chaos, did not get your guarantee.
Nope.
But still ended with 3 points. I went 8-6, did not get my chaos, did not get my guarantee, with 1 point. Part of me wishes like I think the spread was too close, but man, I wish I just put the chaos on the Rams. But I think the spread was too close for me to do that. Anyways, the overall records are as follows. Matt, you're on the doorstep of 100, but you're sitting at 99-65 with 33 points. Pretty good. Like, I gotta say, like, you're doing very well this year.
I really am. Like, other than the,
very
I had
season.
one random outlier with a 3-10.
Yes.
Which was bad, but I haven't been under 500. No, I've been under 500 once since I went 7-8.
Yeah, no, you've been doing very well.
Yeah,
and I'm hard on myself, but 92-72 is not a bad record either. But I unfortunately with the point totals and the fact that is besides the points, that's 7 games behind Matt. I am sitting at 18 points, so I'm in a 15-point hole going into Thanksgiving. It's gonna probably be a little hard at this point for me to climb out of this because we're gonna have to disagree probably a lot more. But hey, weirder things could happen. Who knows? So let us go ahead and jump into it, Matt. Why don't you get us started with the first Thanksgiving game?
The Detroit Lions, coming off of their insane last 4 minutes victory against the Bears, are now going to take on their other NFC North opponents in the Green Bay Packers, hosting their annual Thanksgiving game. Will the Lions be able to continue their dominance?
I really want the Lions to win this game. Like, I just want them to keep winning because that city, this team, they deserve a division title for once. They've been in the playoffs since I started watching football a couple of times, but they've always been wild card teams and they've not won a division since the early 90s. I really want the best for the Lions. Having said that, I'm going to chaos the Packers.
Fair, I see it. I can see it. Packers have been
in this one, just because the Packers have been playing well. I am shocked by the spread. 7.5 just feels a little wild, but I guess it's because it's the Lions having a great year and the Packers have overall not had a great year. I just thought division rivalry might have made it a little bit closer. I also just think the Jordan Love has been playing a lot better as of late.
Agree.
And weird things can happen to the Lions on Thanksgiving. It's happened many times before. So I'll team chaos the Green Bay Packers.
All right, I respect it. I'm not going to like it if it happens, but I respect it.
Me either, in a way.
I am picking the Lions, and I'm rooting hard for the Lions this Thanksgiving.
Yes, totally fair. All right, next up, the Washington Commanders versus the Dallas Cowboys. Believe this is the first time Washington has played on Thanksgiving against the Cowboys since the name change, which again can't say how much again that I think we are all
a really good
for.
thing about the fact that it's a game on Thanksgiving.
Yes, exactly. It's no longer a glaring weird feeling that the funny feeling that is as Bo Burnham sung in that one song. Anyways, the Cowboys are coming off of a very nice victory over the Panthers. The Commanders are coming off of just stinking the joint up against the Giants. What do you think's going to happen in this game?
I mean, it's really hard to beat Tommy DeVito, but I also think that they're going to have a hard time beating the Cowboys here, so I will pick the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are unfortunately a team that could flop hard at any minute.
Yes.
I'm going to say it won't happen this time.
Yeah. Sam Howell has unfortunately had a couple of stinker games, but he's overall played very well this year. And I could see in a scenario where the Cowboys get shocked on Thanksgiving, because that's happened multiple times to the Cowboys as well.
Yep.
Something about the being the teams that host the Thanksgiving the most, weird shit ends up happening to them on Thanksgiving, mostly bad. Having said that, I am going to pick the Cowboys in this game.
And our Sunday night, Thursday night football game, because this is on NBC.
Yes, yeah.
49ers versus the Seahawks. 49ers have had a couple pretty solid dominant games in a row. Kind of bouncing back from their skid. Seahawks just lost to the Rams. I think it might be a bit of a struggle for them in this one, but again, divisional game. Weird shit happens in divisional games.
Yes.
How do you think this is going to go?
I am going to pick the Niners.
I'm going to pick the Niners as well.
Yeah.
Do you have something else you were going to say?
No, I was just going to be like, I have been saying this for a couple weeks. I'm not trusting the Seahawks right now, and I think the 49ers are hitting their stride.
Let me check one thing real quick.
Sure. Because I don't know. Like I look at the Seahawks. What's that?
It's a little close. I was going to guarantee the Niners. It's a 6.5 spread, which I think 7 is our limit. Do you think that's too easy?
Up to you, man. I won't judge you.
Right,
Did you have another guarantee in mind?
I'll stick with this one this time.
All right, so you're gonna guarantee it.
I'll guarantee 49ers.
All right, sounds good. I think that's completely understandable.
Okay.
It is time for the NFL's first Black Friday game. How excited are you for our Black Friday game, Matt? How excited are you? I mean, it is frustrating how genius the idea is to have Amazon Prime host a NFL football game on Black Friday, but it's frustrating. Like, incredibly annoying that corporations are coming up with these ideas.
Yeah.
And are going to profit megally off of it. Anyways, it's the Dolphins and the Jets, and that's not a great way to have a Black Friday game. To have Tim Boyle showcase on Tim Boyle. What do you think's going to happen, Matt?
I think the Dolphins will win the game.
I think so too.
It's a bad team, so the Dolphins will win.
Right. Well, so that's the thing. Dolphins played it weirdly close with the Raiders on Sunday, but I think they will get out of that funk, and they should be able to beat the Jets.
Alrighty. New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons. This is a fascinating matchup. Because of the very close NFC South division race that any of the three teams at the top can still win. I don't know how to feel about any of these teams. Do you? Desmond Ridder is starting again for the Falcons also.
How did that happen?
I don't know. He just went back in. Maybe because they lost 3 games in a row to quarterbacks playing for the first time. With Taylor Heineke.
So. Right. I just didn't think Heineke started that long.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, both of these teams are coming off of byes. So this is always a close game. It's always a frisky game. It's always a weird game. Saints have in recent history been the dominant one in the matchup. I'm gonna pick the Saints here. I don't feel good about either team.
I'm also picking the Saints, and I feel very similar to you.
There we go. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. First game without Joe Burrow for the season. And the Steelers, meanwhile, fired their offense coordinator, Matt Canada.
Yeah.
Today. So that's interesting. That's probably going to be some changes on the offense going into this game. What do you think is going to happen?
I think Kenny Pickett's going to throw for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Jalen Warren's going to rush for another 200 and 2 touchdowns of his own. I'm going to pick the Steelers.
Wow. If that happens, exactly, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be quite a call out. I'm reminds me of the stupid the John Boyce documentary thing of the guy that walked home after I'm combining things. I'm confusing things. I think maybe it was the Mariners documentary, the one that he like perfectly predicted the exact player that was going to hit a home run.
That sounds like the Mariners documentary, yeah.
Yeah,
the guy who had to walk home was like the 10 runs scored in the first inning, but lost the game.
Right, exactly. No, I was confused. I was conflating the two of them.
Shout out to Dorktown. Go watch Dorktown.
Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of watching their the guys that you pay to wear shorts.
Oh yeah,
documentary right now. Which I haven't. That is one I have zero history of or knowledge of, so I have no idea where it's gonna lead. I have no idea about that season. I have not looked up anything, so that is actually something I am completely blind about. It's very good. Yeah, I'm picking. I think I said I'm picking the Steelers.
Oh, I was picking the Steelers. Yes. Carolina Panthers take on the Tennessee Titans. Oh, Carolina. How you have fallen. Things don't look good, Chris.
No.
They really look bad. But thankfully for them, things also look like shit in Tennessee. So maybe they stand a chance this game.
I don't know about that. I think Will Levis is been playing better, weirdly, than Bryce Young in some ways. I think the Titans have a defensive front that generally would work well. Was doing well against the Jags, but I don't know. I just think the Titans are going to be the better team in this matchup, but would not be surprised if this is the Panthers somehow. They get this. This is going to be their second win of the year, and they don't win anything again. I can see that happening as well.
I could also do it. I originally actually had this as my chaos, choosing the Panthers.
Sure.
I decided on a different chaos, so as a result, I'm going to pick the Titans.
Okay. We are in lockstep on that.
Yep.
Next up, the Buccaneers at the Colts. The Bucks are coming off of their loss to the 49ers. The Colts are coming off a bye. They last played in Germany against the Patriots, where they beat the Patriots, I believe. What do you think's going to happen in this one?
I'm going to pick the Colts. As Gardner Minshew's number one supporter.
Sure.
I have to pick Gardner Minshew in games that I think that he can win.
I am going to pick the Bucks.
All right.
I still like the way that Baker Mayfield has been playing overall. I think that the Bucks might still have a little bit more talent than the Colts do right now, but I don't know. Who knows what will happen? But I also think the Colts have a better coaching situation overall, and that will probably be the edge. So it's a pick 'em game. I think one of those that I who knows who could win it.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. Next up, the New England Patriots. Did Mac Jones get benched yet?
I think I don't think officially, but I think we're assuming it's gonna be Bailey Zappi.
Yeah. Bailey Zappi's my one of my personal heroes.
Sure.
I'm just kidding.
Sure. I know. Listen, I'm gonna yes and you.
Unfortunately, he's playing my other personal hero, Tommy DeVito. Giants came after being awful all season. Came out and lit the Commanders up like a Christmas tree. Patriots they don't have anything. What in the past 3 years has the New England Patriots done that you look at and go, that's inspiring football? That is extending to this season as well.
I don't know.
Unless, I don't know. I really appreciate the bold decision to give to non-offensive people co-offensive coordinator duties. I think that worked out really well.
That was inspired.
That was inspired. That's inspired.
Well, yeah, you could probably throw in other adjectives, mainly negative ones.
Yeah,
but I'm going to choose to say inspired.
I will agree with inspired.
Look, I don't know if either of these teams are in good shape, but I'll say this: it's fun having a cult hero like Tommy DeVito as your quarterback in a lost season, because it's just something to spice things up. Italian spice specifically.
Hell yeah.
And so I'm going to pick the Giants in this game.
I'm also picking the Giants. Let's get some chicken cutlets.
There you go. Are you Italian in heritage at all?
No.
Me neither.
No, I am like...
So this is maybe a little offensive.
I don't think it's that bad.
No, I know.
We're past the point where, like, Italians are, like, a marginalized people.
Right.
And as long as we're not, like, calling all of them, like, very, like, the stereotypical Italian names, I think it's okay.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
We are all white people.
Basically, yeah.
Basically.
We're all Europeans.
Tommy DeVito, though. He's the next folk hero is here, and he is the most New Jersey and Italian you've ever met.
Man, the Vikings and Giants are just they've been in lockstep because they had last year was we are playing way better, or our record is way better than it should be.
Yep.
And this year we have folk heroes as our quarterbacks because our other quarterbacks got injured for the rest of the year.
Yep.
So Vikings and Giants were that meme of the two muscly guys holding hands through the last few years. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. The Jags did bounce back from their loss against the 49ers, just completely taking down the Tennessee Titans. The Texans, in a close game against the Cardinals, but ultimately got the victory. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
I'm going to do something interesting.
Sure.
And I'm gonna pick the Jaguars because I know that you're picking the Texans, and I just want to make an interesting.
Okay.
I just want to make an interesting podcast product.
That is, you're very right, and I will say, like, you talked about this a couple of weeks ago after during the midseason special, like that I should be putting my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
To the Texans, I did not that week, and I should have because the Texans did end up winning that game against the Bengals. I'm going to do it this week and guarantee the Texans.
Love it.
Matchup against the Jaguars.
Yep.
I think this is it. I think this is the moment where the Texans take control of this division and never look back.
Well, I think it harms you if I pick the Jaguars.
I mean, don't you want that?
Well, I wanted to give you more of a fighting chance, you know.
Oh,
this is a close game regardless.
I think it's fine. I think I am down. It's a mini Foco.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
And listen, I am saying this. I really like the Texans.
Oh,
I think I like them more than the Jaguars.
I
think I may like them more than Jaguars right now. I am on the CJ Stroud MVP train.
Yeah. No, I listen. Most of the teams that are in the running right now in the AFC, I'm going to love because I just would like to see someone other than the Chiefs. But the AFC South has always been one of my favorite divisions because there's always just something weird happening with all these teams, and I kind of like all of them. You know?
Yeah.
When they're good, it's just like, oh, look at that, they're neat, and it's interesting.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm going Texans.
Cool.
Guarantee.
Very cool. Cleveland Browns versus the Denver Broncos. Broncos on an unprecedented winning streak. Is this 4 games in a row? 5?
4 games.
4 in a row, yeah.
Yeah, because they were 1-5.
They were 1-5, yeah. So have won 4 games in a row. Under Sean Payton. Russ is cooking. He's cooking in this offense. It took some time, but they got to kind of where they wanted to be, and now they're only 2 games behind in the division. Versus Cleveland, you know, they managed to put 13 points up against Pittsburgh, but are they going to be able to hang with Russell Wilson, first ballot Hall of Famer?
I think that this is one of those games that will probably come down to the wire, but I think the Browns defense is going to make Russ look like 2022 Russ, and therefore I'm picking the Browns.
I'm picking the Broncos. I'm riding the hype. What's wrong with me?
That's okay.
What's wrong with me?
You're backing Kevin James.
I'm backing Kevin James. I'm backing the Blart. Fair
enough. I get it though. what a weird story. What a weird turn of events with the Broncos. This kind of came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're like on a collision course. It's a little weird.
Let's ride Broncos country.
Yeah. Next up, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams, of course, won last week, as we mentioned. The Cardinals lost last week, as we just mentioned. Does Kyler Murray have a chance to beat Matthew Stafford in this game?
This is a little bit of a tricky one. I'm gonna pick the Rams, but I don't have a I don't know. I could see the Cardinals winning, and I maybe like the Cardinals a little bit better on a different day, but
yeah, no, I totally get it. I'm going to pick the Rams myself.
Yeah.
I think that this is going to be the start of a nice stretch for the Rams, hopefully, for them, that they can go on a little bit of a run maybe, and maybe make the NFC playoffs as like a 7 seed or something.
Yeah. All right, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Chiefs have not scored points in the second half in 4 straight weeks. Raiders coming off of a loss to the Dolphins, but ever since Josh McDaniels got fired, there's another team that has been up. Mm-hmm. It is they've been on the upswing a little bit. Do you think they have a chance against Mr. Mahomes?
First of all, this is a great uni matchup. It's always one of the best.
Yes,
ones
I agree.
Of the black home uniforms versus the white and red pants of the Chiefs. It's a very good one. This is one of those, like, man, the Raiders could absolutely shock the Chiefs. They absolutely could. I just still look at the Chiefs as a better football team than that. I don't believe that the Raiders will do it, so I'm gonna pick the Chiefs.
It's always so funny looking at my postseason records, like in terms of picking teams, because I always like to pick against the Chiefs, and that's not changing here. I'm team chaosing the Raiders.
All right,
like you see the cracks forming in the Chiefs. Like you need receivers, Andy.
Yes.
And the draft picks haven't fully worked out. Rashee Rice is not quite that what you want him to be. Kadarius Toney hasn't been. MVS hasn't been. But like you gotta try to use them in some way, and they gotta try to catch the fucking football.
I think they're using them. They're just not catching the football.
Right. But they also, I think they're another big problem is that they spread them out so much, and they try to get cute with all their different receivers that they use.
That's fair.
Where if they allowed for a little bit more consistency receiver to receiver, I do think that maybe one or two of them would get better rather than just trying to catch lightning in a bottle and see what happens.
Totally get it. I don't disagree at all on that front. But I will defer.
All right.
Next, am I next or you?
I am next, I think.
There you go.
All right, Buffalo Bills versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Preseason could have been a fascinating Super Bowl matchup. May not be this year. Eagles still 9-1. Have only lost to the Jets. Versus the Bills, they are not quite what you have expected them to be, but they haven't been bottom of the barrel, which is good. Do you think that they have any chance against the dominant tush push Eagles?
the brotherly shove. God damn it.
They've been trying to like rebrand that for other teams. Like for the Colts, they called it the pony push.
Okay. we got.
It doesn't work. We gotta. We gotta put the squash on it.
Yeah. Squash is Thanksgiving.
There you go.
Thanksgiving tight end. There you go. Yeah. I am gonna pick the Eagles, and it's just. The Bills and Bengals are the two teams I want so badly to get a Super Bowl.
Right.
And it's just is killing me that we're starting that it was in the grasp of both of these teams, and now it's starting to fall away. Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow's existence is giving me hope that the Bengals will be there for a while. But the Bills, it just feels like it's that window is starting to close, and this might be the last stand for the Bills, unless they can pull the upset. But I'm picking the Eagles.
I'm also picking the Eagles.
There you go.
Yeah. They're good. They're a good football team, Chris. And I do think that they are one of the most complete teams. I think that the top of the NFC right now is better than the top of the AFC. But
yes.
the AFC is still deeper. Like, there's more good AFC teams than there are good NFC teams.
I agree.
Which I don't think is a hot take.
No, I saw someone argue though that there was no good AFC teams.
No,
but I think their point though is just that there's flaws with every single AFC team,
which is true, yeah.
Which is very true, and I guess you could say the same thing about the NFC. But I could just see it. The same two teams that have been the dominant ones of the last couple of years. I could absolutely see the Eagles and 49ers being just going on a run here, and one of them being the ones that lift the Lombardi Trophy at the end. It feels like that kind of year for them.
Yep.
But maybe not if this next team has anything to say about it. The Baltimore Ravens, who did have a very nice victory over the Bengals, even though, yes, Joe Burrow was injured in that game. They now go up against the Los Angeles Chargers, who just continue to baffle. What do you think's going to happen?
Justin Herbert needs a raise. He got an extension.
He needs a trade.
He needs a trade. He needs a new coach. That's what he needs, yes. Because Brandon Staley sucks ass. I'm surprised he didn't get fired after the Packers game.
I'm surprised too. Yeah,
maybe they didn't want to ruin his Thanksgiving. Whatever.
If you were to do him a favor, if you want to do him a favor, fire him now so that he can just enjoy his Thanksgiving.
Just enjoy his Thanksgiving. Yeah. I'm picking the Ravens. We need more stuff to just shit on this coach more so that he can get fired and just Justin Herbert can actually do something.
He was so angry after that game.
He was. And it's
a good watch.
I hate the head up your ass coaching style.
It's so funny. Well, it's just like. And then he gets mad at the media. It's just like, hey, they're just asking the questions that literally all of us are trying to ask you, and just be like why the fuck are you making the decisions that you were making? Because it's baffling. Anyways, yeah, I'm picking the Ravens. I know that it's going to be a regression without Mark Andrews. I know it. You feel it, but. Man, you just also want to hope that this is a different Ravens team. And it feels like it can be. I feels like this offense has been better this year than it had in recent years. And so, we'll see. Hoping for the best for the Ravens.
Me too. I think I'm also picking the Ravens. I think that's where we're at in this order.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm picking the Ravens. I think you explained the last one.
Yeah. All right. Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings did lose their game to the Broncos, unfortunately. Now they have a Bears team that was very close to knocking off the Lions. And then the Lions roared back. Justin Fields is playing very well. And I hope he plays well the rest of the way. For the Bears' sake and for his sake. Because I think that will be good news regardless of where Fields ends up playing next year, if he ends up getting traded or if he sticks around. I think it will be a better conversation for the Bears to have with him. Anyways, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I do really I really do hope Fields can put something together. This feels like the random game that the Bears would win every once in a while. Should have been the Lions last week. But I am now in addition to the Chargers, we got 2 games in a row where I'm clamoring for losses to hammer home why this head coach should be fired. Chargers are not one of those. The Bears are the other ones. Let's go Josh Dobbs. Picking the Vikings.
I am picking the Vikings as well. And with that, we have 5 disagreements once again. Keeping it interesting.
Yeah.
The picks go as such. The Packers and Lions. I picked the Packers in my chaos. Matt picked the Lions. Buccaneers Colts. I picked the Bucks. Matt picked the Colts. Jaguars Texans. Matt picked the Jags. I guaranteed the Texans.
Ooh.
The Browns and Broncos. I picked the Browns. Matt chose the Broncos. and Chiefs Raiders. I picked the Chiefs. Matt Team Chaosed the Raiders.
There we go.
And with that, I'd say that's a productive episode of the Virtual Ball Boys. We created, we changed the name of one team,
yep,
VBBFL, and we created a new VBBFL team. Both names are stellar.
They're incredible names.
We've hit the mark. We're now on the roll, a buttered roll.
There you go.
And then of course we talked all things football and picked the games, and we go into Thanksgiving. And as always, I am incredibly thankful to you, Matt, for joining me for this podcast and for doing this. As always, this is always a highlight for me, and especially now in with the job that I'm now working.
Yeah,
it is a highlight to come home and to be able to do this. So I thank you as well as always to making it special.
Absolutely.
And with all that said, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Good night and good ball.